a part of you should always be in a state of remembering. It should always be trying to distinguish between truth and lies. It should see the mind for what it is. It should see the body for what it is. And there should be a constant desire, a burning desire to keep coming back to the present. Because it would not take too long for you to realize that whatever I am being pointed towards can only be realized in the present moment. If the self is transcendental, it cannot be in the past. The moment you say it is in the past, you are making it limited. You are severing it from the present moment. Your individual experiences can be in the past. Your memories are in the past because they are limited experiences that have happened to the individual you. How can a universal self, a limitless consciousness, be somewhere in the past? And similarly, how can it be in the future? It is such a simple understanding, yet it completely misses the mind. The mind totally misses it. What you're searching for has to be here, right now, at this very moment. And yet, you keep on searching as if it is somewhere out there. As if it is something that will happen to you. Or something you will stumble into. Or something the teacher is going to make happen. His grace, His love and compassion is going to suddenly awaken you, suddenly enlighten you. The problem in believing that it is going to happen is you are pushing it to the future. Even to believe that your teacher is going to do it is to push it into the future. What are you waiting for? Why aren't you experiencing truth in however limited way right now? Why are you just thinking about one final explosion? Why are you only thinking about samadhi or nirvana? Besides, how can you think about nirvana? How can you contemplate on nirvana? Nirvana is the end of all experiences. It's a moment where you are not there. And how can you think about a moment when you're not there? Because you know nothing about not being. The only thing you know is being. So why worry about something that you cannot even contemplate on? What you're missing is what you can actually experience right now. Because you are not far from the truth, and the teacher is immersed in that truth, for him it is actually baffling that you are unable to realize this truth right now at this very moment. It is a great surprise for the teacher. That is why they keep on talking about immediate enlightenment. If only you can do this, if only you can understand this, if only you are open enough to allow these teachings to go deep enough, immediately you'll be enlightened. The reason why the idea of sudden enlightenment exists is because that is the only way enlightenment is going to happen. When it happens, it will always be a sudden enlightenment. In that moment, you will simply realize something that you have known always. Enlightenment is not a new experience. You experience enlightenment in deep sleep. You go to that realm. Every night you die to your body, you die to your mind. You are totally disconnected from this physical realm. It is only when you wake up, all the memories and experiences and everything floods in, and immediately you see yourself as a part of this vast tapestry of life. But where were you when you were dreaming? Where were you? Where was your body? Where were the walls of your house? Where was your city? Where was your country? Where were all the people around you? In states of deep sleep. It is only when you wake up, all these things come back. And you falsely assume that they've all been there. They were sleeping in their homes. The country was still there. The community was still there. The walls of my house are still here. See, I woke up, it's all there. But can you prove to yourself that they did not disappear when you disconnected from the body and went to sleep? You cannot. Because you just don't have the memory of enlightenment. Because enlightenment is not something that happens to you. The enlightened you is there. Always enlightened. Without that, you cannot exist. But the problem is to know that you're enlightened, to know what life is, to know what death is, you should be fully aware and awake that 1 second before enlightenment happens. You should be watching that moment when you fall into the deepest sleep. Literally, enlightenment is that moment when you are blissfully asleep. You are asleep to the body. You are asleep to the mind. You are asleep to the world and all the experiences. But you are awake. You are watching that sleep. When you watch sleep, you will know what enlightenment is. And how can such a thing happen through the grace of the teacher or waiting for it to happen in the future? It can only happen when you keep on knocking at the door of the present again and again and again in as many different ways as possible. You have to be a seeker of truth all the time. Not just when you are reading a book, not just when you're in front of a teacher, not just when you're sitting and closing your eyes meditating. That longing to know who you are has to be the most important desires. All other desires should be subservient to that. When you wake up in the morning, the first thought should be, who am I? Not where am I, what am I going to do today? All useless thoughts. How many people have come and gone? Doing how many different things? What has happened to all their accomplishments? It's all in the dust, even the greatest of accomplishments. So what you're going to do today is utterly useless to think about. It is not your actions that define you. It is that realization of the truth of who you are. Do you know who you are? That's what separates you. That's what makes you a Buddha. That's what you're longing for. You're longing for a moment of realization. And that moment is this moment. That is why the teacher always believes that it can happen any moment. So he tries in every which way to awaken you suddenly. This is the difference between a realized master and someone who is just talking. A realized master truly believes that his words can awaken you, and that awakening can happen any moment.